Probably thinking, what's Shaytan got to do with the month of Ramadan? Almost every Shaykh has mentioned that, come the month of Ramadan, Shaytan is chained away. The reality is, my brothers, Shaytan has worked for centuries on this ummah, and he has worked for centuries to destroy every goodness we have in this deen. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Alhamdulillah, I was quite fortunate that just a few weeks ago we were in Umrah. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this possible for everyone. So we're there, we're in Umrah, and imagine, you're in the Holy of the Holy. The Holy of the Holy, we're sitting in front of the Kaaba. Front of the Kaaba. Like there's this moment, anyone that's been there knows what I'm talking about. He's sitting in front of this, it's just epic in every sense of the word. And then the adhan goes off. Imagine if the Kaaba, Shaytan has not left alone. So then the adhan goes off, and then I see people stand up and they're pulling out their phones, and I can talk about the phone all day long. But I'm thinking, it's a special moment, let it be. So they're pulling out their phones and they're standing in front of the Kaaba, and then as soon as the adhan goes off, instead of looking at the Kaaba or recording the Kaaba, they turn to their sides and they start recording this clock tower building. I just think, oh my heart, man. Even the Kaaba is not enough for the hearts of the believers. This clock tower, this monstrosity of a building. And tonight I'm not here to speak about halal and haram. I'm not speaking about halal and haram, but just for a moment, think deep with me. If I'm standing in front of the Kaaba, if I'm one of the very few fortunate people, look, there's almost 2 billion people, almost 2 billion Muslims on earth. Very few are selected and allowed to stand in front of the Kaaba. Yet even at that moment, while the adhan is being called, Muslims have turned and they're recording this clock tower, and you should see their eyes. Look, brother, look, it's glittering, it's turning green. I'm thinking, bro, you're standing in front of the Kaaba. Shaytan has worked endlessly. We go to Medina. Imagine Medina, Masjid al-Nabawi, the holy of the holy. The holy of the holy. You're in Medina. Imagine a place the Prophet chose to die in. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You walk into Masjid al-Nabawi, and look, alhamdulillah, I'm fortunate that I take, young guys, youth, and you walk into the masjid. This is the masjid that changed the world. Masjid al-Nabawi is the masjid that changed the course of history for life. Yet we walk into the masjid and Shaytan has left no stone unturned. You walk into the masjid, again, I'm not speaking about halal and haram, and we're in awe of the carpet, of the pillars, of the electric domes that open and close, and people pull out their phones and look, Shaykh, and our hearts are connected, not to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not to the land where Jibreel descended thousands of times to bring down Quran, to speak to the Prophet, to help. No. The hearts of the Muslims has gone where? Every time I go, someone asks me, brother, how many pillars do you think there's in Masjid al-Nabawi? So Shaytan has left what? No stone unturned, and unfortunately he's done the same with Ramadan. You might think, but brother, Shaytan is chained up in the month of Ramadan. Let me tell you, my brothers, Shaytan has been working 11 months. He actually needs the full weeks off. He's more than happy to take the month of Ramadan off. He's been winding you and up so long. Like there used to be a phase, the fidget spinner. You know the fidget spinner? The more you spun it, what happens to it? The more you spin it, then when you let it go, it runs for longer. Habibi, Shaytan's been spinning you and I for 11 months of the year. So come Ramadan, him and his mates, they're kicking back saying, watch this guy go, bro. Boom. And you're gone for a 6. Gone for a 6. And wallah, it breaks my heart. It boggles the mind. How has Shaytan been so successful in changing the Ramadan that the Salaf and the Prophet and the companions used to long for. To this, you know, the companions, look, in Masjid al-Nabawi, when Umar ibn al-Khattab came into rule, came into power, Umar ibn al-Khattab's time was like, it's known in our history as the golden era of Islam. That's the peak. After the death of Umar ibn al-Khattab, it was just, things were never the same. So in his time, obviously Islam is growing. So now the companions came, pressure was there. It was necessary to do what? To expand the Masjid al-Nabawi. They had to do it. And you know, Umar ibn al-Khattab was one of those very specific people. You know, he used to monitor the hearts of not only his heart, but the hearts of... Anyway, so now they've expanded the masjid. It's a sign of growth. It's a sign of success. Imagine the Prophet's mosque. They've expanded it. Money is coming in. Now the companions, they're debating amongst each other on who has the heart, who has the courage to go to Umar ibn al-Khattab and suggest, not carpet, not chandeliers, not electric domes, no, who is brave enough to suggest that we should put some paint on the walls? So Umar ibn al-Khattab says, over my dead body. What was his dalil? What was his thinking? What was the wisdom? He said, I fear that the color of the walls may, just may be a distraction and a fitna for the hearts of the believers. So you look at electric domes and you're in awe. Umar refused to paint the walls because he knew how sick our hearts were. How, just for the love of Allah, someone explain to me, how has Shaytan turned the month of fasting into the month of feasting? Someone please explain. The month of eating less has become the month of throwing food away.